Howdy and welcome to J76 Gaming. I am your host, Jimmy Wild, and this is the J76 Gaming Podcast. This podcast is constantly evolving, but the format is really pretty straightforward. I'll talk about some gaming industry news. I'll talk about some of the games that I've been playing, games that I want to play, and then we'll also get into some of the collector side, so physical games that I've been collecting, and then we'll get into the main topic for the week. And as always, timestamps will be available in the description below, and there will be a post on the website j76gaming.net that will have links and additional content for each episode. So if you're interested, go ahead and check out j76gaming.net. All right, before we get into the episode, I did want to just take a moment to say thank you for watching the podcast. I look forward to filming it every week, so I genuinely want to say thank you for watching it. It means a lot. So, and remember, if you do like the podcast, go ahead and like and subscribe. That means the world to me. Being a small channel, trying to grow, every little like and every subscribe is very important. And also, feel free to forward to your friends, let them know. And let's just see if we can't grow this a little bit more. I really want to build a gaming community, and one that crosses all platforms. So even if we do talk a little bit of mess towards each other, it's all in good fun. And in the end, we're all gamers, and that's all that matters. So speaking of growing a community, I did want to shout out the J76 Gaming Discord. It's pretty small, but we're growing, and I've been making sure to get in there every day and hoping to grow it there. Also been having a great time on Twitch, streaming Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights from 7 to 9 p.m. Central. It's been really fun getting some gaming in and chatting with people, and I'm working towards the affiliate rank on there and need to get up to 50 followers for that, and then all the additional steps. But the followers is big. So links for Discord and Twitch will be in the description below, and then also on the website j76gaming.net. All right, now that is out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the lightning round. This will be news items that are interesting, but not necessarily needing of a full deep dive or something like that. So let's get into this. First thing, which I'm pretty interested in, pretty excited about, is the list of launch games for the Xbox that are going to be optimized. This is not a list of launch titles. This is like backwards compatibility games that are going to be optimized for Xbox Series X. Now, there's a point in here that I wanted to say. Okay, this means specifically tuned for next gen. This does not mean simply playable or benefiting from the base upgrades. This is something that is specifically tuned for next gen. So, all right, let's just take a quick look at games. So, Assassin's Creed, I've never been an Assassin's Creed guy, so I don't really care. Borderlands 3, I'm pretty excited about that. That'll be cool. I'd like to see what that looks like. And also later we'll talk about there's this new season pass for that coming. Devil May Cry 5. See, I would love to get into the Devil May Cry series, but I just don't have time. Forza Horizon 4 is another one of those games that I'd like to play, but I just don't have time. Gears 5, same thing. Gears 5 is gorgeous on PC. I think I have played it on Xbox One. So it'll be interesting to see what it looks like on the Series X, see how close to PC it looks, because it is beautiful on like 4K on PC. So Gears Tactics, blah, 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 Oddball Mania, blah, blah, blah. Ori and the Will of the Wisp, that's another one of those games that I would love to have time to play, but I just don't. Watch Dogs, same deal. And then the extra 29 to 31 is Sea of Thieves and Bright Memory. So yeah, I don't really care about those. But anyway, so yeah, that's a pretty good list of games. Like I think the coolest thing the coolest way I've heard it phrased for like next gen stuff is it may not be, because I don't think either platform has real strong launch titles, but I think the way to think of it is this is the way to play your game backlog. If you have games that you haven't played or you never finished or you want to go back to, on the next gen stuff is going to be the way that you should be playing it. So I'm hoping to get some time in on some of these games that I've been missing. All right, so let's move on. So Double Fine, which I am a Double Fine fanboy, and I have a man crush on Tim Schafer, so who is an awesome guy. And let's see, so what do we got? We have some of the best games in all of history. Full Throttle, Grim Fandango, and Day of the Tentacle are coming to Game Pass on October 29, so that's pretty cool. And these are the remastered versions, which is pretty cool. So I have played through Full Throttle on the remastered, and I mean that's one of my favorite games of all time. I love it. And yeah, Grim Fandango is one of those where I started playing it and I got stuck at a particular point, and then I was just like, I've had it, and I didn't come back to it. But I would love to play that. Day of the Tentacle, I don't think I finished. I did play it a bit though, but yeah, so this might be a great opportunity for me to get back and play them. All right, what else we got? Oh, this one is ridiculous. So Xbox Series X will take just as long to install games as Xbox One. And what they're saying is that when you put the disc in the drive and try to install the game, it's going to take a long time. Well, no shit. Like the CD, DVD drive, Blu-ray drive technology is not a booming business. It is not like screaming in technology advances. So yeah, the drives are still slow as shit. So it's still going to take forever to install, because it doesn't matter what hardware you put the Blu-ray drive in, the reading from that drive and it's spinning around is going to take forever. So duh. Anyway, moving on. Let's get into some PlayStation stuff. So Sony revealed what the PlayStation 5 User Experience is going to look like, and I'm not going to play it because I think that would get flagged. But we do have a screenshot here, and okay, like I don't care. I think Sony is probably winning in the user experience in the UI world, but Xbox is coming along, so I'm pretty confident that both of them are going to be just fine. And I'm also confident that we're going to find something that drives us crazy about both of them. So, but anyway, if you want to check it out, go check out the online new user experience. And now this one is interesting. So this goes into into that wacky world of analysts forecasting what is going to happen in the future. So, I think there was two different projections here. So the one was saying that PS5 is going to sell way more than PS4, but it was going to be like 200 million. And people were like, holy crap, 200 million, that's a ton. Well, there was a new analyst, and I think there's a little bit of translation going on here. So once again, this is speculation, and let's just take that as it is. But one analyst is apparently suggesting that the PlayStation 5 could reach 600 or 700 million units sold. And what they're basing this on is that the PS5 could become the competitive gaming replacement for PC. So they would say, okay, so all of these competitive gamers would now switch to PlayStation, and then the big number is that 400 million spectators of competitive gaming would then buy PlayStations. So I think there might be a little bit of fuzzy math going on here, and maybe a little wishful thinking. But anyways, it's an interesting thought to see, and it'll be cool to see what happens. But I don't think 600, 700 million PlayStation 5s. Like, that seems ridiculous. Considering, like, what did the PlayStation 4 sell? 100 million? 110, 120? Like, what did the Wii sell? The Wii sold, like, maybe 120 million. So to suggest that we're going to jump that by 5 or 6 times, that seems excessive. But in all honesty, the thing that stands out here the most as the most ridiculous is that PlayStation 5 would replace PCs for competitive gaming. I don't see that, because no matter how cool the PlayStation 5 is, and no matter how powerful it is, it's still going to be annihilated by a PC. That's just the way it is. So, but whatever. So yeah, and so this news item falls into one category, and I'll explain that in a second. Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be launching on Stadia. And the only reason I wanted to bring this up is because I wanted to say, who gives a shit about Stadia? All 14 people that are concerned about Stadia, here you go. Cyberpunk 2077 is coming, and you can pre-order it. All right, more PlayStation news is there's a Halloween sale. And I mean, there's sales all the time, but I was just kind of zooming through here, and there's some pretty good deals that if you don't own these games, I would recommend them. So I won't go through all of them, but I just wanted to point out a couple things. And actually, the very first one on the list here, Alien Isolation for $8. Do it. Alien Isolation is awesome. It's one of those things, turn all the lights off, wear headphones, and just creep yourself out. It's so fun. Let's see, Bloodborne's good. I don't know. I mean, $10. I mean, I think it's worth $10, but let's see, what else do we have? There was something else on this page I think I wanted to... No, maybe it's page 2. Yeah, here we go. Dragon Age Inquisition Deluxe Edition for $5. If you don't own it and you're like, I like Dragon Age, or I kind of like Dragon Age, or what's this Dragon Age? I mean, you could easily get 100 hours out of a $5 purchase. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, this is a no-brainer. If you have even 1% interest in this game for $5, I would grab it. And then another thing I did want to point out here, which is pretty funny, is that the retail price for Fallout 4 Game of the Year Edition is still $60. Like, come on. Like, and it's always on sale. Well, I shouldn't say it's always on sale, but every sale that comes along, Fallout's on sale. So, I don't know. I would definitely... $17.99. I think there's a lot of value in $17.99 as far as hours, but it's pretty funny that Fallout 4 is still retails at $60, and then you have to wait for it to go on sale for $18. I think that's as cheap as I've seen it, like the $18 range. So I'd grab it. Fallout 76 is on sale, and still way too much money. So yeah, I guess I'm not going to go any further through here, but check out the Halloween sale. It's good stuff. So yeah, so this is interesting, but I mean, I don't personally care, but I can imagine it being important for some people, because AMD's new Zen 3 processors are going to come with Far Cry 6. So not too bad a deal, especially if you're getting something. I think it talks about I don't think it just says 5000 series. down to 5800. So maybe, okay, well, I was going to say, if you could get the 5600X for $300, which is, I think it's a great deal for that processor, and you get a free game, not too bad. But anyway, so yeah, so if you're in the market for Far Cry and for a new CPU, there you go. All right, and then so this is another one, kind of hinted at Borderlands already, but we got a new a new season pass coming for Borderlands 3, and there's going to be, starting on October 20th, there's going to be some streams to cover kind of some of the new stuff, so that'll be cool. I'll probably check those out. I love Borderlands 3, like I love it, and I'm hoping that I can get back to it, because there's a lot of content that I just really didn't finish, because I finished the original game, and then I played it all the way through again on another character, and then I started a third character, and I don't know how far, and I was just like, I got distracted by another game, and I didn't get back to it. So I'm kind of hoping that I can go back to that. And yeah, so that's the lightning round. All right, so what have I been playing recently? No Man's Sky. I've pretty much been no-lifing No Man's Sky this past week. There's a couple of late nights. There was a 4 a.m. and a couple other late nights as well. And I can't seem to pull myself away from it. It's one of those games where it's just comfortable to play. Like, it's so like peaceful, if that's the word. Just zooming around the galaxy, looking at stuff, looking for ships. That's what I've been doing. So when I've been streaming, trying to find cool ships, and in particular trying to find a cool hauler. I really want one of those fan haulers, and which you can find fairly easily. Excuse me, but I would really like to find like one in yellow or white, or like either black or dark gray, or like whatever the like bare metal is color you want to call it. So I will continue to hunt because it's fun. I love doing it. What else? So I have been popping into Genshin Impact a bit here and there. But yeah, I can't get away from No Man's Sky. So really, I've been like, okay, make sure to get into Genshin Impact and at least look at it. So I'm hoping that I can get more into that next week. So I think by, I don't know, maybe a couple more days of No Man's Sky, I'll get to a point where it's like, okay, now I got my hauler, and now I can just, I can stop no-lifing it. But yeah, because Genshin Impact is really fun, and I really want to spend the time, but I don't know. I'm just one of those people where I just get so dug into a game that it's hard for me to not play it. So anyway, so yeah, that's what I've been playing. All right, so quick collection update. Continuing the theme that I haven't gotten any new games. I'm still focused on the hardware for my new gaming PC that is actually getting kind of close to done, as far as part shopping goes. I haven't started the build yet. The only thing I'm really missing is the CPU, so I just need to wait for November 5th, and hopefully I'll be able to get in an order for one of the AMD 5000 series Ryzens, and that'll be the last thing I need. Everything else is either in hand or in the mail. So yeah, but I'm hoping to get start a video series for that. I'd like to do like a build vlog of that and put it on the channel, because that's what I love. If I could do anything for a living, it would be building PCs and filming it. So, but anyway, actually I'm just waiting for the set to be done. And by the set, I mean cleaning up my kitchen, because I'd like to do my PC builds on, I have a fairly big island in the kitchen in my apartment, so that's where I like to do my PC build. So that's the PC set. But anyway, so yeah, so hopefully we'll get that going pretty soon. All right, for this week's collection revisit, I wanted to get into a game that I've already mentioned today, and it's one of my favorite games of all time, and that is Full Throttle. So in honor of Full Throttle and other Double Fine games making it to Game Pass, I thought we'd take a look at the original Full Throttle. And there's not a ton to this, but let's go ahead and get it open. There's one. I'm gonna save the game CD for last, but you get in there. It's pretty simple box. Yeah, I mean, we got the boring paperwork. What is this? Little reference guide. It's got a little stain on it. Don't know what that is. So full disclosure, this is not my original box. I had to buy a box. I do have my original game, but the box fell victim to the mom. The mom one day said, "You don't need to keep all of these video game boxes." And I said, "Yes, I do." And she said, "Let me rephrase, get these boxes out of my house." So I had to throw out all my boxes. Yeah, I will never forgive her for that. But anyway, so cool thing comes with the game is this little player's guide, this little hint book, and the Full Throttle roadmap. But yeah, I mean, it's just got like a little walkthrough of some of the areas. It's pretty cool. It's just like, I just love that games used to come with stuff like this. You know, I mean, we've gotten so far away from physical editions of games. It's like, I mean, even if you go to like I go grocery shopping at Target, you go to Target and they might have games in stock, but right above them, it's all a list of download codes that you can just buy there. And I'm just like, oh, it's a sad day. But anyway, so the last thing that I want to show you from Full Throttle game is the CD. So let's see if I can't get that in there. So yeah, signed by Tim Schafer. So that was really exciting to get to meet him and have him sign it. I actually learned a lot from Tim, and he is a fantastic guy, and a huge inspiration to me as far as this channel goes. He gave, and this wasn't directly to me, he gave this to a bunch of people, advice, and he was just like, actually, I'll show you. It kind of goes into the fake it before you make it type thing. So if you look at the box, right at the bottom it says A Heavy Metal Adventure by Tim Schafer. So, and what he said is like, basically it's like no one cared or knew who Tim Schafer was, but at the time you put yourself on the box, you make a name for yourself. He's like, this is by Tim Schafer, and nobody knew any better. They're like, oh my God, it's made by Tim Schafer. But he was just like, I was a nobody. I just worked for LucasArts. So anyway, so that was really cool. So that kind of goes into, and you can see it now. It's like people are like, myself included. And it's just like, this is, the J76 gaming podcast featuring Jimmy Wild. I'm like, no one gives a shit who Jimmy Wild is, but maybe someday they will. Right? So anyways, just a quick story about meeting. Actually, I can't remember if I told this or not, but if I have, I'm sorry. But anyway, I love the story about meeting Tim Schafer. So I was at PAX. I want to say it had to have been PAX Prime, and I forget the year. It doesn't matter. But anyway, this was after the Kickstarter for Broken Age, and I was up. I think I was in the main hall, the main expo hall at PAX Prime, and I was watching a game I was watching like one of the smaller booths in this game people were watching. It was some stealth game. It was like Spy Party, I think it was called. And I was just watching it, and I'm a little bit uncomfortable in crowds, which is kind of funny that I want to go to PAX all the time. But anyway, so I'm just a little bit on edge. And anyways, I'm just standing there, and for whatever reason, I had gotten lost in Spy Party, and I was just like watching it, and then I got punched, like in the back, and it was like, what the heck had happened? Like, I was like, who the heck is punching me? And I turn around, and it's Tim Schafer. Like, he didn't like punch me like I want to hurt this guy. He just kind of jacked me in the back, and I turned around, and it's Tim Schafer. And then I didn't think about it, but then he was like, look at your shirt, and this is the shirt. So I was wearing my Double Fine Adventure like Kickstarter backer shirt, and so that's how he picked me out. And they just like kind of hit me, and then like later on there was a Double Fine meetup, and like we started talking, and like I said, he's a fantastic guy, and I have a huge man crush on him. But anyway, so that's the story of meeting Tim Schafer, was that he punched me in at PAX Prime. But yeah, and I guess I should make sure to clarify, he didn't like punch me in the head. He just hit me in the back to get my attention. So anyway, so that's that story. But very cool. Full Throttle, like I said, one of my favorite games, and I am very, very proud to have that in my collection, because it's great. I love it. All right, so that's the collection revisit. All right, so on to the main topic for this week. I wanted to talk about platform exclusives. I'm really against exclusives, but I kind of feel sometimes like I'm that old relic, or the get off my lawn guy about it. And is it really as bad as I think it is? Is it dividing the gaming community, or is it perfectly fine? Especially, for me, I buy all of the consoles, and I have a PC, so it's like, it doesn't really matter if it's an exclusive or not. But it kind of does. So what got me going on this is a comment made by Phil Spencer from Xbox about the Bethesda games. And I had originally thought that this came out on Twitter, but I found an article on Kotaku that looks to be the source of the quote. So this is part of a much larger conversation, but really it's the only part that I really cared about. So let's take a look at that real quick. All right, so Kotaku, an interview, Stephen Totillo, Phil Spencer, yada yada yada. If you're interested, take a look. But what got me, so here's the Bethesda deal. And basically the question was that he asked of Phil Spencer is it possible to recoup a $7.5 billion investment if you don't sell Elder Scrolls 6 on the PlayStation? And this was specifically about Elder Scrolls, but I mean, it could be any of the games that Bethesda has. So the answer was yes. So they can still make plenty of money if they make it an exclusive. But then he kind of goes on to cover himself as like, I don't want to be flip about it. The deal is not done to take games away from another player base. And I think that's a big part, is like, I don't want games taken away from people. And I'll come to that later. We want more people to be able to play the games, not fewer. So that's good. But here's the big thing that I'll talk about in a second too. We have xCloud and PC and Game Pass on our console base. So we don't have to go ship that game on any other platform other than the platforms we support in order to kind of make the deal work for us, whatever that means. So I'm mostly reading this quote, but like you can see it. So and I'll put a link in the description, so if you want to read it fully. But basically, this just got me thinking about game exclusives, and are they good or bad, and do we care? So we'll get that off of there. All right. So I have a couple thoughts on this. One is that technically Bethesda is a first-party studio now, as in any games it makes are technically Microsoft games. So if they were to be made exclusive or timed exclusive, then my own arguments will make that okay. If you look at Nintendo, they have all of their first-party Nintendo games. It's kind of expected and accepted that if you want a Mario game, then you need to buy Nintendo hardware. Okay, no problem. So what are my rules or arguments for exclusives, like that make exclusives okay? And really, there's only one. Is like, is it a first party game? Then feel free to make it exclusive. If it's your game, sell it where you want. Examples would be Horizon Zero Dawn, and then Forbidden West coming to PS5, and I'll talk more about that in a second. And then of course anything Nintendo, like I said, anything first party, you just expect. It's like, oh, it's a Nintendo game, I need to go get a Nintendo. No problem. But really, that's the only time that I can come up with an acceptable way for an exclusive to work in my head. So let's get into the reasons why I am against exclusives and why I don't think they work. So like number one, like a paid or a time exclusive for console. I'm going to focus on console here for a second. So stuff like Destiny, let's take a look at that. So Destiny was a paid exclusive in a sense where PlayStation got more content and got the content sooner. And, that created problems in matchmaking or expanded the rift between Xbox and PlayStation because, PlayStation players could play the game, put all of the content out on YouTube or whatever, and Xbox players are just sitting there like, okay, maybe someday I'll get to play this. So I don't love that. Now, number two, paid exclusives for PC. Epic Games. And sorry, I hate Epic Games. And they're buying up games for a period of time. Like example of Borderlands 3, I think it was 6 months before it got to Steam. So therefore, I couldn't play Borderlands 3 on my preferred platform, PC, until then. And so why do I hate Epic so much because of this? Or, for example, is, they just buy up all this stuff and have created this exclusive game divide that was really only a console problem, and then now here it is on PC. And I don't think I can ever forgive them for that. Like, I don't think so. And that's on me. That's a weakness on me. That I probably can't forgive them for that. But anyway, and I'm not saying also that Steam can be the only platform on PC. And like, I don't really care how many platforms there are on PC. I don't care how many apps like GOG or Epic or Steam or Ubisoft has their own, like Uplay, Blizzard has their own. Like there's a million different ones. I'm like, I guess I don't care how many there are. The more the merrier, I suppose, like depending on how you look at it. But if I have 300 games on Steam, but then now I have to go get Epic Games and their awful store just to play Borderlands 3, then I'm going to be pissed. And I was pissed, and I'm still pissed about it. But anyway, so GOG is a good example of a counterpoint here. Is like, I love GOG. They're full of good gamer will, right? Like CD Projekt Red, they're I don't know, they're kind of like universally loved. Now we'll forget about the game crunch stuff, the game dev crunch, whatever. I'm sure that's a thing, but that doesn't really apply to this argument here. But it's just really just everyone kind of just likes GOG. And I actually prefer GOG over Steam right now, and it's not because, here's the difference. It's not because of an exclusive game that they have. It's the goodwill, and it's the better product in my mind. Like, I look at GOG Galaxy and I was like, this feels cool and fresh and new, and it doesn't feel like tired old Steam, you know. But anyway, so Epic, here comes Epic, and Epic just throws this store together. It's garbage, and then just starts throwing millions and millions of dollars at games to be like, oh no, you're an exclusive to Epic's game store. And I'm like, why don't you take those millions of dollars, put it into the development of your game store, make a better product, make a real reason for people to choose your store above some other store like Steam or GOG or whatever, and then go that way. That's what pisses me off. Build a better product and people will use your product. That's all there is to it. Anyway, so number 3, my rules against exclusives. I'm old. My eyes, not so good anymore. My reflexes, not so good anymore. Or I shouldn't say reflexes, I should say like my thumbs. They're not so good with the controller anymore. So playing with a controller on a game that requires accuracy, like I can't do it as well as I can with a mouse and keyboard. I need to be able to play with a mouse and keyboard. So I brought up Horizon Zero Dawn earlier, and it was cool on PS4, but like ultimately I got frustrated because I couldn't aim well enough with the controller. So you put it on a PC, I get my mouse, and I'm just like, oh, this is where it's at. So I was super happy to play, and because it's a lot less frustrating. So anyway, number 4, graphics. Now, I love game consoles, and they're constantly improving. But my PC is going to destroy any console for graphics and performance. That's just all there is to it. And you know, I'm a graphics snob, so it's like I said it. Like I want to have the choice to play on console sometimes. But if I really want those graphics, like I want to be able to go onto my PC, fire up a game at 4K ultra settings and play it. I don't always want to play on console where it's like some sort of upscaled 4K and it looks okay, but it's just not. I prefer the brute force of a overpowered PC playing these games. So I want the prettiness, you know. So anyway, so yeah. So I guess here the point I want to say there is choice. Like if you give me the choice, I'm going to play it on PC, and the choice is the important part. So I'll stop at those 4 rules because I could probably just keep rambling on for a long time, but that's really it. It's one of those things where I'm focused on the gaming aspect of it right now, but this applies to everything in our lives, in my life, in our lives. It's like, it's choice. Give me the choice. Don't make the choice for me. And that's really all it is. I want to play what I want, where I want, and when I want. And anything that any company does to interfere with that, I'm not going to like it. So, we got off task a little bit, but back to the Xbox and Bethesda deal. So, I hate to say it, and I'm like, in the most selfish way possible, like, I don't care if they make any of their games exclusive or not. Because if they make it in a Microsoft exclusive, then I'm fine. I'm covered because I can play it on PC or Xbox. And I'm not sure if that makes me a hypocrite or not, because, technically it's now a first-party game studio. But they did buy it and could potentially take a studio that had games available everywhere and then make them now exclusive to one platform. And I'm not sure if I'm okay with that. I think that's the deciding part, is we had a studio that games were available everywhere and making them only available on one platform, or, well, in this case, two platforms. So I don't think I'm okay with that. So, I mean, really, we're just in this situation where we're looking at Microsoft and we're giving them our trust to make the right decision. And I think that they need to be the good guys here and have, like, all of the new games come out at the same time on all platforms. Especially with Game Pass. Like, if you have Game Pass, it's still a huge edge for Microsoft when it comes to Microsoft edge for Microsoft. Anyway, it's still a big win for Microsoft compared to Sony, because if their games are available in Game Pass, then they're free, whereas you would have to pay $60 or $70 now or whatever on Sony to play it. So, I mean, that's one thing. So I think that they can not make the games exclusive so all gamers can keep their choice, but there's still plenty of incentive for people to choose Microsoft because of Game Pass. And the shared ecosystem with PC, like, that's the huge deal to me. So that's kind of all of my thoughts there. It's like, I really think, well, number one, I hate exclusives, and number two, I hope that Microsoft does not make any of the Bethesda games exclusives, because, like I said, I think that they have the edge with Game Pass. So, and if they're saying that they can make money putting it out everywhere, so if they're saying that they can make money not putting it out everywhere, then great, you can make a ton of money putting it out everywhere then. So anyway, so Microsoft, what I'm saying is, I'm putting my trust and my money into your hands, so please do the right thing and don't make any exclusive games. Anyway, all right, so that was kind of long-winded, so I will get out of here. And I wrote a lot of this out, so I apologize for kind of reading a script, but I had just a lot of thoughts, and I just wanted to make sure that I put them out kind of organized. So anyway, so that's it, and I will see you next week.